Hi guys, this is Mr. Garza here from Mr. Garza's Art Lessons. I just wanted to give you a heads up on what the few next lessons we're going to be doing. The next few lessons are going to be superheroes. We're going to start off with the Justice League. Now we're going to do the animation style that Bruce Timm did. So if you've seen Justice League Unlimited, the regular Justice League show, Superman the Animated Adventures, Batman the Animated Adventures, that's the style we're going to go with first. Now, they're a lot easier. You get to do more shapes and more structure, and you get to start building anatomy. One thing I need to make sure that you're clear. Make sure you have your parents' permission to view my channel if you're under 12. This is more of, I want to make sure you're watching something safety. And that your parents are aware that, that my art lessons are nothing bad, okay? Have them sit with you and you can draw with them, That'd be a fun adventure. Both of you can draw it. That'd be awesome. But just make sure you give them heads up, like, hey, Mr. Garza's Art Lessons web series. It's fun and educational, okay? With this being said, we're going to start with Batman. Most of my videos are going to have either part or all of the stick figure. You're going to start with stick figure first. And then you're going to morph it to muscles, to details, to the actual picture. You're also going to make sure we're going to try to do something different as well. We're going to do with regular pencil and eraser, yes. But we're also going to start inking with black Sharpie and probably some manga pens. Now, I'm not telling everyone to go out and buy manga pens, but if you want to try that, you're more than welcome to. You can use like regular color Sharpies. You can use markers, matte pencils, crayons, all sorts of media. It's okay, because you're still learning. Also, if you're drawing, if your Batman or Superman doesn't look exactly like mine, it is okay. Okay? Sometimes it might not even look the way I want it to. So, but it's okay. Because y'all guys are trying. It's one of your first times. Feel free to pause at any moment. If there's something, rewind and go back, check it out. Yeah, and then that's all you have to do. Check it out. We also might have some alternate versions, like I have some New 52 and Red Sun versions that you can try out as well. You could just use the same pattern and add those details in. So, by all means, with that being said, let's go ahead and draw some superheroes. So, we're going to start with a action pose. So this right here is going to be his head. So we're going to make it like a nice rounded head. We're going to do a stick figure. Every time we model out, we're going to make sure we map it out. We're going to make it probably to right around to right here. Okay, and stick figures help us. This way we know what we're mapping out. So, we're going to make it to an action pose. So this part of his arm, so we're going to go right here, make a circle, go back, make a circle, and right here, kind of like a square. These are going to serve its arms. Now, the Batman version we're going to draw is the animation type Batman. So if you've seen Justice League Unlimited, or Batman the Anime Series, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to draw the Bruce Timm version. This is easier for beginners. This way, where you can get to learn certain techniques. And we're going to do this part of his hand. We're going to come back, and these parts we're going to erase. So just bear in mind, okay? So we're going to make part of his chest. And then kind of a circle right there. From there, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna make its legs. And for the feet, they're going to be, it can be a little tricky, so all you have to do is just go over, little curve down, curve right there, and then right there should be fine. Now you're gonna erase and make more of a circle right there, so that's why it's gonna look a little funny right now, but it'll be okay. For this part of the leg, however, you want to make it where it's like jumping, so you're gonna put the circle right here, and again you're gonna add the detail for, and then you're gonna add just a little right here. Now that part you're not gonna see, and then so here's a basic stick figure model of Batman. If you want to press pause so you can catch up, go right ahead. This is the moment now. For further along though, we're going to go ahead and move on then. So when we do this, you're adding, if you remember my dragon video, you're going to add like kind of bubbles to it. So it's kind of connect over, so. And somewhere you curve over, you kind of look at a hand. Now, you can always look at anatomy. Like, example, look at your arm. You know, just have that white curve right there. And you can curve it like that. And then you just add that detail in. Right here, part of the shoulder blades, you're going to make the muscles kind of creep up right there. And since we're moving over right there, we're going to erase parts of it. So this part of the line, I'm going to erase. And if I erase anything that's important, I just go back and trace it again. Now you'll be erasing parts of your stick figure as well. Like right here, I'm going to make it more curved in. So I'm going to erase part of that. You can always look at pictures. For beginners, you can always look at pictures, especially if it helps out. Then right here, I'm going to curve. When they do that, you can do a curve right there, but we're going to have to erase in the middle part anyway, so. So when you make the curves on the leg, it's going to be like more slender, okay? Because Bruce Timm uses more of a unique style. It pretty much is more like an animation type realistic. So once you see it right there, you're adding some of the edges. I'll make my leg a little bigger because it looked a little too skinny. There we go. Sometimes things happen on set, but we didn't practice. For its knee, we just do a little curve right in there. I still didn't finish erasing, sorry. Go back to his leg. Now I had to look at the animation style for Bruce Timm again to make sure, you know, that which kind of Batman you're doing. So if I I had to look and redraw some stuff. He has more like a pointed type here. We can make the legs this leg a little bigger over this way. Then connect. Or actually, we can put it right there. And connect. And since we know where our leg's gonna be, we can add. Alright, there it is. So that's gonna be the model right there. And I can erase this part, because I'm not gonna need that part no more. Let's go back to the arm. This is where we're gonna probably have more of the cape, I think. We'll probably make our cape like that. And then we erase this part. Okay, so we didn't, my paper didn't get all of it, but we can still work around it, so it'll be fine. So we're gonna start adding most of the details into it, and we're gonna make sure we add a thumb, like right around here, because that's gonna be where its fingers are gonna be at. You can always try to add different type of fingers, but for right now, just try and do simple ones right now. So yes, fingers can be a little tricky. Okay. So for this part, you're going to just give a little curve like right around here, like a line right there, and then curve right there. And that kind of gives that grip, you know, that grip that he's holding right there. Gives that dimension, and you can go out a little bit more. And so, okay, so now we're going to start adding the details. One thing we noticed that Batman has some muscles, so we're going to probably make them a little bit bigger, more. Now the muscles are more like rounded, so that's why they look a little different. And Bruce Timm doesn't really give that whole muscle, ginormous muscles thing, so they just gives a little curved edges on it. Which is fine, because, you know, you're still learning. For right here, we're going to go back. I gave curve line right here, a line right there, a line right there. Now we're making part of his jaw. You know, that's the way his jaw will look like. And it may look a little funny right now, but that's where we're going to have this cape. So we'll add the cape in just a bit. But let's go ahead and add like the things for the boot. Now I have to do a simple boot like right there. Like curve lined. For under torso. Now the Batman in this one had still under torso right here, but whereas the new ones, they usually don't anymore. But this is the one classic Batman came out, so you know that's what's going. We're gonna make its belt, and we're gonna do two different separate lines right there. And we'll add square. And he had another about square right there. And that's where he had gadget packets. And in this version it had more of like a square type in it, so you can always make it come out a little more right around there. For its glove, where we had the connection right there, we'll just put it there. And then it has a little bit of the little 3 blades, so 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, and 3. So let's add his cape because it just looks a little weird. And we're going to erase all that part again. And we'll make its horns just a bit. Batman has that little curved cape, so you're going to do it that way and curve. In this version, well, no, it doesn't have the local connections up that way. I thought it did, but it does not. And so we got its cape. Now his horns are a little bigger than average on this one. I don't know why the producer did it. I think it was because they just made Batman Beyond. And they just finished up with that series. So they wanted to make its horns a lot bigger. But in the original 1990s animated, the ears were pretty short, and so were the other ones. So they're going to look a little mished on that one. So you're going to do its cowl right there, right there. Actually, cut. Let me redo that. Right there, towards that line. And then the eyes. More like long triangles. Right there. Again, right that. A simple scowl like that. Okay, so this is the pencil version. And for his bat symbol, he had like a little flat bat. Now it was more like Just not the Hush version where it's a little more curved out. Just a little more flat, so it's... Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and skip towards some of the stuff. The next tool that I'm gonna use is the thin Sharpie. I can find it. There it is. It's gonna be a thin Sharpie. So what you do with that, you're gonna plan it out where you want. Just go over and see where the black line goes. And that's how you're gonna do it. You're gonna do the whole sketch. And I'm gonna show you where to add the blacks and the blues and after I get done with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip over, and then you can pause and then you can trace on that part. Okay, so I fast forward a little bit, and this is what it's gonna look like completely inked. And I'm gonna show you what you can do to make the blacks. Now, this right here, these little highlights, these are gonna be blue. Okay, so you may need to pause it. This way you can see more or less. Now, the highlights are gonna just be kind of a little bit like right around here, right there. No more than 2, like on his, yeah, you know, the underwear part. That's the best way to say it, sorry. She cut. So anyways, cut, and action. The blue highlights are going to be like around here in the cape, the gloves, the boots, everywhere. So, you know, that's just the way it is. So you can just add it by this, and I'm going to show you how. It's a simple line. And then another line. Right there, since it's going to be covering over, we'll just go down here. And if you accidentally go over, it's okay. So, you know, don't worry about that. Now, you can color the black and the thin ones, like especially the little part. I would use the thin Sharpie. Now, there are other manga pens you can use, but I like the thin Sharpie the best. And then there's another really thin marker manga pen that I haven't gotten yet, but I don't have with me. But you can always find that. So you're going to do that the entire. Or if you want to do the little thin one, you can move on to the big one. Okay? You can do the big one and you can color it there. Keep in mind, the little areas, that's where you're going to need it the most. So we're going to go ahead and skip over. This way you can do this. And we'll appear back in a bit. And okay, so all you gotta do is just use the black Sharpie. Once you see, you know, both black Sharpies, I use some the thicker one up more right here, and the thin ones more around the little corners. Once you start seeing that, that's when you can tell, dude, this is Batman. So, yeah. For this part's good. It does take time. I will tell you this. It does take a little bit of time. Like maybe 10 to 20 minutes. Sometimes a little longer. Depending on how big your drawing is, okay? So if you had to do that, then I guarantee you did it right. You did it very correctly then if you're... also, if you see some pencil marks, which I see some right around here, you just go back and erased, because you won't need the pencil marks no more. It's all inked, so that's gonna be the helpful part. So you just go back and erase it all through the paper. Okay? This will make sure you don't have unnecessary pencil marks that you need. And I'm going to show you how to color some of it. And you can do it. You can just watch or participate. It's totally up to you. We may do some parts of value. I don't know. But we're going to take a look and see. So I'm going to start with the blue first. And you can see how I do it professionally real fast. And then, you know, I'll fast forward a little bit of it. So for the blue part, since I'm going to use more of the painted brush part. So if you see right there, I'm going to use more of the painted brush. So I'm going to dabbly go down. You have to do this very gently. It's like a paintbrush. And be aware, you can make Batman a darker blue. It can be a black as well. I would recommend like a very, very dark gray. This way you can tell, you can still see the black and have some of the highlights. Okay. Right around here you have to be real careful. If you go over to the black, it'll be fine. But if you go accidentally to another outside, if I went out to the gray, then it can cause some issues. So you just do lightly, like a paintbrush. You can always go to a harder side, just do a little harder. Some of those edges, if you like to. Now, these markers are a little expensive. They're about average $5 to $6 a piece. So you may want to start off something smaller. But since this is a beginning course and this is a beginning version of Batman, you know, you can always just do in regular matte pencil or marker, matte pencil, crayon. You know, all that good stuff. So you know, it doesn't have to be professional manga print. But if you like to do art a lot, then I highly recommend these and the other ones that I have. So you can test, play with them out. You know, you might find better ones too that fit your style. And by all means, use whatever type of media you like. I've seen many different versions in watercolor and stencils, just sketches. Some are just plain pencil. I chose Bruce Timm's versions because they are beginnings that help you understand how to do superhero form. Eventually, I'm going to start doing a course where it's going to be more advanced, and that's when we'll put more of the ripped muscles and the more details into that. But that usually just takes by looking at some pictures. Now, I'm not telling you to go look at some pictures online. Do not do that, especially if you're under 12. Even with this show, you have to ask your parents' permission first. I even put it on the YouTube channel. This way you have permission to be on it. And most of my tools that I get is if you live in Houston, Texas, I get most of mine at the Texas Art Supply store. So, very cool place to check out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up coloring him, and I'm going to show you the exact final style. And we're just going to go ahead and fast forward. And once you do that, you could just pause and know what colors he needs. So this way, but we're not gonna waste full 10-15 minutes of me just coloring. So let's go ahead and fast forward. And so as you see, that I decided to use the darker gray on this one. It makes the suit a lot more darker. It brings out the blues, the highlights of the blue. You have to this is a lengthy process, so you have to do it very gently. If you rush into it, it's going to look a little too sloppy, so you have to just rush, do it very gently. It could take a very long time, and in art, it's never the rush on it. It's the details, and that's what you want. Okay, so Batman is complete, and I got full frame